The Afro-Germans, also known as Black Germans, are citizens or residents of Germany with roots in Sub-Saharan Africa. Historically, Germany had a notable presence of black individuals, particularly in the 18th century. However, the numbers dwindled over time, leading to a significant reduction or even near absence of Afro-Germans in certain regions of the country. Today, cities such as Hamburg and Frankfurt, which were once key centers for occupation forces and immigration, maintain substantial Afro-German communities. Modern migration patterns and trade have further contributed to the growing Afro-German populations in major cities like Frankfurt, Berlin, Munich, and Cologne. Notable individuals such as footballers Kevin-Prince Boateng and his twin brother Jerome are descendants of Afro-Germans, highlighting the ongoing presence of this community in Germany. In this video, we will explore the historical erasure of people of African descent in Germany and the factors that contributed to their decline. Stay tuned to learn more as we delve into this significant aspect of history. Historical context of Afro-Germans. The presence of Africans in Germany can be traced back to the 17th century. In 1682, Frederick William, the Grand Elector of Brandenburg, Prussia, established the Brandenburg African Company and commissioned the construction of a fort on the Gold Coast, present-day Ghana. This fort, named Gross Friedrichsburg, was intended to facilitate the German slave trade. Over time, German ships, such as the Friedrich III, transported thousands of African slaves. Many of these slaves were sold at prominent markets, like St. Thomas in the Virgin Islands, one of the most significant slave trading hubs of the era. Africans were brought to German territories from the West African coast, primarily the Gold Coast. 12 African boys were brought to Germany, 6 of whom were adorned with golden chains and presented to the king. These enslaved children were subsequently sold to new masters and taken to Potsdam and Berlin. In 1717, King Friedrich Wilhelm I of Prussia sold his African estates, and during this period, slaves were often traded for German linen fabrics. The period also saw increasing pressure on interracial couples. Decline of Afro-Germans before and during World War II. Before World War II, Germany had a vibrant black population including people from Africa, the Americas, and the Caribbean. However, the conflict led to strict migration controls, and many immigrants who had come for business were unable to leave due to the lack of travel documents. The end of World War II left many stranded in Germany. The decline of Afro-Germans accelerated under the Nazi regime, which came to power in the 1930s under Adolf Hitler. The Nazis, known for their extreme nationalism and racist ideologies, sought to establish a racially pure Aryan state. During this period, black individuals faced severe harassment and persecution. The Nazi regime's racial policies aimed at purifying the German population led to the exclusion and targeting of non-Aryans, including Afro-Germans. Nazi policies became increasingly brutal, with laws that led to the imprisonment, forced medical treatments, and internment of many black Germans. Afro-Germans who were conscripted into the military faced harsh discrimination and brutal conditions, particularly on the Eastern Front. This era saw a significant loss of life within the Afro-German community, contributing to their dramatic decline in the population. The Nuremberg race laws. In September 1935, the Nazi regime introduced the Nuremberg race laws, initially targeting Jews but soon affecting black and Romani people as well. The laws categorized non-Aryans derogatorily and included the following measures. Reich Citizenship Law. This law defined German citizens as those of German origin or blood, excluding non-Aryans from political rights. Law for the protection of German blood and German honor. This legislation banned intermarriage and sexual relations between Germans and those of different racial backgrounds, aiming to prevent black people from marrying and having children with Germans. These laws significantly impeded the ability of Afro-Germans to build families or secure their future. Despite the prohibitions, some Afro-Germans engaged in interracial relationships and marriages, facing dangerous circumstances and social pressure. The term Rhineland bastards was derogatorily used to describe people of mixed race ancestry. The Nazi regime's disdain for African descent was further exemplified by Bernhard Nuremberg, a German colonial affairs director, who made inflammatory remarks about the need to eliminate certain native tribes. Impact on education and society. Black children in Germany were systematically excluded from schools, leading to feelings of isolation and exclusion. Initially, this discrimination was a local issue, but it intensified with the Nazis' formal enforcement of bans against black students. The Nazi laws also resulted in Jewish children being barred from public schools. Forced sterilization. A particularly cruel policy of the Nazis was the forced sterilization of individuals they deemed racially inferior. The Nazis implemented the law for the prevention of offspring with hereditary diseases in 1933, targeting multiracial children among others. Approximately 400,000 people were sterilized under this law. For instance, Ferdinand Allen, a black man with a British father and German mother, was forcibly sterilized and later murdered as part of the Nazi T4 program. This program, which involved the euthanasia of individuals with disabilities and those considered unworthy of life, contributed significantly to the decline of Afro-Germans. The T4 program and additional persecutions. The T4 program, also known as the euthanasia program, was a Nazi policy targeting individuals with physical and mental disabilities, as well as Afro-Germans. The program facilitated the forced sterilization and murder of those deemed racially inferior. One of the early victims was Hilarius Larry Gilges, a black German dancer and communist activist who was murdered by the Nazis in 1933. Law for the Restoration of the Professional Civil Service. Enacted in April 1933, this law mandated the removal of Jews and other politically unreliable individuals from government roles, including teaching positions and civil service jobs. The law also affected naturalized Afro-Germans, who lost their citizenship and faced discrimination in various professions. The Nazi ideology encouraged open discrimination against black individuals, with many facing prejudice and exclusion from their workplaces and communities. Afro-German resistance and legacy. Despite the harsh conditions, Afro-Germans fought for their rights through protests, civil disobedience, and legal challenges. During the 1920s and 1930s, the black community organized demonstrations against discriminatory laws, including those banning interracial marriage. Notable figures like Theodor Michael resisted racial segregation, and in the 1950s and 1960s, Afro-Germans pursued legal battles to secure citizenship rights. Cultural contributions, such as those from jazz musician Louis Armstrong, played a role in challenging stereotypes and asserting Afro-German identity. Tragically, some activists like Amadeu Antonio Kiowa were murdered by neo-Nazis, leading to the establishment of the Amadeu Antonio Foundation to combat racism. In recent years, memorials like Stolperstein have been dedicated to black victims of Nazi persecution, acknowledging the historical injustices faced by Afro-Germans. The Erasure of Afro-Germans from Germany is a profound chapter of historical injustice shaped by racial policies, persecution, and systemic discrimination. Understanding this history is crucial in recognizing the resilience and contributions of Afro-Germans who have fought to reclaim their identity and rights in the face of adversity. Let the world know what you think about Afro-Germans by dropping a comment in the comments section below. Do not forget to like and subscribe for more informative videos like this one. Thanks for watching.